Michael York is currently co-starring with Martin Sheen in The Crucible on Broadway at Tony Randall's new National Actors Theater. He has 2 films coming out this year and an autobiography due in the spring. It is called Accidentally on Purpose. We're pleased to have Michael York here. Welcome.
Thank you.
I should say, straight from the theater you came, and I was just saying, are you being kind to Mr. Miller, Arthur Miller, who wrote The Crucible, and you said, boom.
Well, he was in tonight, and he very nearly didn't get me tonight because Mr. Miller wanted to see his cast afterwards, and we were all very attentive and very anxious to, to have his report.
And what did he say?
He was complimentary, and he was critical, which is very helpful.
What did he say critically?
Well, I mean, useful
about the
things.
Performances or about the overall construction of it?
No, about the performance. This is a long play, and it's full of moments, but momentum is maybe even more important. But the nicest thing I heard, a friend of mine came around to see me tonight, and she said, I sat next to Arthur Miller in the performance, and he was crying at the end. So I thought, well, maybe we're doing something right.
Did you know he was there during the performance?
No, thank God, no.
Yeah, it would have made you nervous, wouldn't it?
I think it might, yes. Yes, this is it's a great play and a great...
and a great playwright.
Great play, exactly. Yeah. Although maybe not honored in this country as much as he is in mine.
Is he appreciated more in your country?
Well, I mean, his new plays are done in the National Theatre.
Yeah.
The new, The Ride Down Mount Morgan.
But and here we do Death of the Salesman.
Sure,
yes. We do the old ones.
Maybe, but it's interesting that you have, because he's so great that, he has a complete international kind of spectrum. He's capable of interpretation all over the world.
Why do you think that is, that he's more appreciated there in London than he is in New
Don't
York?
ask me. It's a kind of syndrome. It happened with Tennessee Williams.
Yeah.
It seemed the critics got mad. They wrote him off, and he refused to lie down and die and kept on writing. And they got mad as hell about that.
There is a thing about us in terms of we even when people achieve greatness, we don't necessarily accept their newer works. It happens with songwriters. It happens with playwrights occasionally. And
I think it's to do with the pendulum of taste and fashion, don't you? And if you wait long enough, all of us, you swing out and you swing in again. And it's, as long as there is momentum. Tennessee
selected you early on, and there was some reason you had some reservation about doing it, didn't you, for some role? And you said, this is Tennessee Williams. Of course I'm going to do it.
Oh, no, I said it immediately. It was like a royal command when he asked me to be in one of his last great plays, Outcry, a two-hander here on Broadway in the early 70s.
You said, I'm thrilled, absolutely, yes.
Well, it would have been like lèse majesté to have said no to one of the great playwrights writing in your language.
Yes.
And it was a fascinating experience, of course, because we were on the road and living in each other's pockets, to have an insight into that teeming imagination.
Yeah. You got to know him well?
Very well. He became a good friend, yes, I'm happy to say. And the book, which you mentioned, I've managed to... I kept some of his letters, and they're wonderful.
Yeah, he was a prolific letter writer, was he not?
Yes, he was a great friend.
There was a woman who was a great friend of his, who you know and whose name I've forgotten.
The Lady Maria St. Just.
Yes,
who used to live in Belgrade, or still lives in Belgravia, around the corner from where I used to live, who is indeed his literary executrix.
Yeah, and he wrote tons of letters to her, and she wrote about the correspondence.
5 O'Clock Angel, or 4 O'Clock Angel, whatever it was. Yes. It's a wonderful book.
Yeah. I look at your life and I read about you, and it seems to be a charmed life. Is it for you? I mean, do you sense that? Because you go from performance to performance. You're on stage, you're on film, you're on television. You seem to be consistently working. You travel around the world. You have a lovely wife and family.
I'm going to burst into tears.
You do. You oughtn't. Well, you should burst into prayer.
You're right, Charlie.
It does seem charmed life for you.
Well, I've been extremely lucky, and but in terms of pendulum swings, one's been in and out and up and down, and that's I think the natural way of things. I think life is a kind of wave pattern.
Is it the career you imagined when you were at Oxford in 1, or 2 when you were performing, at the Old Vic or the National or the Royal Shakespeare, wherever you performed?
I didn't have any precepts or blueprint, and I think this is the fascination of the job, that there is absolutely nothing. You go in and it's anarchy. You create whatever you want. Even the days of the studios where you used to sign on and you were a kind of employee, you had a certain kind of tenure. There was a certain kind of security. There isn't anymore, and it's both frightening and exhilarating. Yeah. So whatever career you have, it's your responsibility. I like it because I'm a highly independent person. Yeah. But I'm forever grateful for the opportunity to work, and I think maybe I work more than maybe other actors are more selective.
You might choose more roles simply because you want to continue working.
I'd rather rue the sins of commission than omission. And I think you learn...
Said well.
Well, you never know. And also there's a total double standard. You know, there's the artistic one, but there's also the living one. You may go off and do a film, you know, which is an absolute kind of horror. Artistically, it doesn't turn out. No one plans it this way. Everyone, at the beginning of every venture, everyone tries to kind of grab the golden ring and to do the best thing, but it doesn't always work that way, and there's no reason for it. But on the other hand, you may have gone to some extraordinary country. I mean, I was in Czechoslovakia, for example, just before coming here, which was, I don't know how the film was.
After the revolution,
Well, it's all happened.
Right, and so you had a chance to see a nation.
I wanted to go there to see...
And a poet president.
Sure. Yeah. Also a film about an arms dealer, which is one of the interesting things about Czechoslovakia, one of the great viable industries, of course. Must be a kind of embarrassment to a liberal humanist.
What was the film?
It was the first Slovak film, so it wasn't...
So this is a film made... Slovak.
Slovak, yes, you have to say this, because it's a very touchy subject at the moment. You know, there is a Slovak nation, there's a Czech nation, and we're in Bratislava, not Prague, and a fascinating time, because working with people who used to be state employees. There was a state industry. There wasn't anymore. So this was the first kind of co-production, the first capitalistic venture.
The exhilaration of artistic freedom.
Oh, yes. Yes, you sense it there. And it was interesting, the Velvet Revolution.
Now, is this a good film? Do you like it? I mean, or is this one of those that you made and you said, look, I mean, I do this because it takes me to Prague and to
No, I actually like the script. It was a director friend of mine who's a kind of genius.
Who's that?
Peter Patzak, whose films are shown in the festivals here. Hasn't yet kind of hit through here, but I think will, maybe with this one. Right?
Do you learn a lot? You worked with Burton, you worked with Richard Burton. You were with Sir Laurence Olivier. I don't know if were you in a performance with him?
I was in his company, yes. I was never on stage with him, which I regret.
But you trained, there was a great story about you'd be exercising there in his company, I guess, and he'd be next to you doing push-ups or something. Is that a true story?
Oh, sure. I mean, in fact, I joined the company the same day as Sir Ian McKellen, who was with you the other night.
Yes, he was.
Yes, we were. Those were heady days. In fact, the glory days, in a way. Extraordinary things were happening. It was a fledgling company, which is now an indispensable part of the cultural life of the nation. And that's why I think Tony Randall's thing is...
and I asked that question of Tony, and he didn't give me the quite... we didn't have a chance to explore it as much. This notion of the role of theater in the culture and in the consciousness of a nation, and in the development of a nation, and as a place where great ideas are played out on stage, you know, and where ideas that go against the grain are presented. And it seems to me, or at least some people argue, that tradition is more nourished and protected and encouraged, at least, with some marvelous exceptions. Here, it is more nourished in your country than here. You think that's true? It's not a criticism of the American theater to say it. It has something to do with a longer tradition, and perhaps also because of the support of the government.
Possibly. All I know that whatever tradition we have, theatrically, linguistically, is yours too.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking about...
common language.
Yes, and Arthur Miller. And we have... Tony, of course, couldn't say it because I think he's a modest person, but he's doing something extraordinary. It needs someone with a kind of mad genius, you know, Sam Wanamaker with his
obsession.
An obsession to do this. It needs, you know, Diaghilev to be the kind of midwife, and I think he's done it, because it's one thing putting on the plays, and as you were saying earlier to Jacques and Gerald, it's also to make them accessible. You know, the students can get in for $10 for these performances, which is as it should be, because I think we also have the responsibility to create audiences, because this thing has made for a strange kind of audience. You know, you notice in the cinema, people talk among themselves. They're used to sitting at home and discussing what they're seeing.
Yeah, they do. There's a lot of noise in it when you go to the films now.
I often feel that there shouldn't be a no smoking notice. It should be
no talking.
No talking.
Be quiet and listen and watch.
And in a way, that the experience, the theatrical experience of you know, seeing great ideas through the prism of actors, you know, in the open is is something that might be lost to us, which seems unthinkable.
Yeah. Who's had the most influence on you as an actor? Who's been profound in terms of an impact?
Well, I mean, we had this pantheon of gods when I was a young actor.
Gielgud and Sir Laurence Olivier and Sir Ralph Richardson and
of course, and
Burton and
and Guinness and so on,
and Alex Guinness
and I suppose the two were,
God, when you think about all those people in one generation, almost it's just extraordinary, isn't it?
When you think of my good friend, I'm proud to hand him a friend, John Gielgud,
yes,
who is the youngest person I know.
Yeah, even though he's
85. His new film is out. He's the last time I had tea with him, he was pacing up and down because he'd been out of work for 3 weeks. And he's young and vital. Great. And, you know, the marvelous thing, it shows that as you grow older, as long as you have your wits and enthusiasm, so your range changes. And, you know, there he is, crowned with crowns and pearls and whatever, and yet along comes Prosper's book.
Yeah, he says, I just saw it's over on 57th Street. Yeah. Now, quick, accidentally on purpose, how did you get that title for I got 30 seconds for the biography or for the memoirs?
Because Simon and Schuster hated my English title.
Which
it's
was?
Out in Traveling Player. They drew a blank at that, and
because they didn't think it would ring with an American audience.
I don't know. My English publishers hated accidentally on purpose. So I thought, well.
Yeah. Now, is it out in England?
It's out, yes.
Yeah. So you've written this, but it's waiting a publication date in the United States.
Yes.
And when will that be?
In March.
Oh, terrific. Was it a cathartic for you? Was it?
Kind of, yes. Yeah. Yes, it wasn't a summing up, but and at first
it's
I
just
resisted
a life in process.
Yes, it's a
midpoint.
A pit stop en route.
Nice to have you.
Thank you.
I thank you for coming, because I think if Arthur Miller was coming to see me, I would have been tempted to say, let Rose fend for himself. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I thank everybody who joined us tonight. Tomorrow night, an hour of great conversation. Our guests will include Pete Hamill of the New York Post, Ken Auletta talking about the networks, and the legendary guitar of Les Paul. Join us then. Until then,